In the middle of the Pacific Ocean, there's a giant mass of floating garbage that's approximately the size of Texas. Nobody can get rid of it or do anything about it, and it just sits there, leaching poison into its surroundings. Let's talk about the NFL's version of that.
Somebody compared the Redskins to the Kardashians, saying they're the Kardashians of the NFL. I don't think that's fair. I don't think the Kardashians are nearly
as dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Now, say what you will about the Kardashians, at least the bloodless lizard person in charge knows what she's doing. This week in Washington, people were still writing eulogies for Robert Griffin III's fading star when GM Scott McCloughan's wife accused a reporter of doling out blowjobs for information on the team. In response, a senior official for the team quickly said that the Twitter account was fake. Hours later, Jessica McCloughan issued an apology through the team that had just got done lying to the media about how she wasn't responsible for the attack. Now, this is the normal state of affairs for the Washington NFL team, where your star wide receiver's sexist meme on Instagram is only the third most embarrassing PR disaster in the span of a week. As for RG3, well, take a lot of negligence from a lot of people to ruin such an electric talent so quickly. You could hand over the controls of a 747 to a golden retriever and the plane wouldn't nosedive as fast as RG3's career. Put that same dog in a Washington jersey, and it'll either get rabies or hit by a bus. That's just what this team does to good things. Sorry, boy, you had it coming. RG3 lost his job in part because football is a sport that is too violent for the human body. He lost his job because starting NFL quarterback is probably the hardest job in all of sports. He lost his job in part because DC fans and the local media are absolutely bat insane when it comes to this team. Have you ever listened to DC Sports Talk Radio? It's like getting a botched spinal tap. And yes, RG3 bears some blame too. His hubris and general lack of self-awareness was chum for the local media and made a difficult situation even worse. And listen, hubris and a lack of self-awareness describes just about every man in his early 20s, and we should expect it from an athlete as celebrated as he was. But here's the thing about going all in for week one. You might just lose all your chips and get knocked out of the game early. But the number one reason for the RG3 debacle is the same thing that causes every other problem for this shitty, dysfunctional laughingstock: Dan Snyder. Snyder cultivated a close relationship with his star quarterback that created rifts with Jay Gruden and, before that, Mike Shanahan. There are cartels with fewer power struggles. And this wasn't the first time Snyder's gotten too friendly with a star player either. He and Clinton Portis were notoriously close, and when Portis and Jim Zorn clashed, Portis' agent called Snyder and demanded that the coach be fired. You would think that Snyder would have learned from that. But ever since he bought the team in 1999 and started throwing money at decaying veterans like Jeff George, Bruce Smith, and Deion Sanders, he always claims that he's learning. "I've learned," he said in 2003. "I've learned a whole bunch," he said a year later. And "I feel like I'm finally coming into my own," he said in 2009. Yes, 2009. That was the year he got drunk on Crown Royal and took the team's private jet to Denver in the middle of the night to recruit Mike Shanahan to be the team's coach. This was during the season while Jim Zorn was still the coach. And wait a second. Whoa. Hold on. What billionaire drinks Crown Royal? It would be just like Dan Snyder to assume that the best whiskey is the one packaged in a velvet bag. It might also explain the Donovan McNabb trade. Hey, side note, give me $1 billion and I will buy the Pappy Van Winkle family and force them to make more than like 12 bottles a year. Listen, fellas, I understand the dedication to quality, but let's share some of that brown nectar with the 99%, huh? Before Robert Griffin III ever came to town, Dan Snyder sold fans bags of expired peanuts that he acquired from a bankrupt airline, gave employees bags of apples as their holiday bonus, still more than we get at Vox Media, by the way, declared walking to FedEx Field unsafe so that he could get more revenue from parking fees, took over Six Flags in a stockholder coup, then single-handedly bankrupted the company, and filed a lawsuit against the journalist who reported those truths about him. And oh my God, how have we not even talked about the team's name yet? We are 4 minutes into this video about how awful this team is, and I am just now addressing how the team's name is a slur to Indigenous Americans. Holy f***. Anyway, about that, Snyder has attempted to rewrite the team's history to make the name appear to be an honor rather than the slur that it is, and he's trotted out fake Native Americans or ones disgraced in their own communities as a smokescreen of support. It's like saying, yeah, I've got a black friend, it's okay, and then pointing to someone on your payroll and that someone is in blackface. Snyder has been adamant that he will never change the team's name. That's a shame for the fans who have invested their time and passion in the team, and as the NFL goes global, it's disgraceful for the league and our country that this team ostensibly represents America's capital. But what's even worse is that Dan Snyder himself will never change, and so the team won't either. Not the institutional sycophancy, not the leaked stories, not the infighting or talk radio hysteria, and not the ruination of its brightest stars. Dan Snyder is only 50 years old, the youngest owner in the NFL, and he's made it abundantly clear that this is his team and it will stay that way for decades to come. And when he's finally gone, whether through death or a multi-billion-dollar sale, Dan Snyder's legacy will be this. Whether or not you think Redskin is a racist slur, you damn sure won't associate it with anything positive.